the heart of the forest, legends awaken from the shadows. The tales of Sasquatch echo through time, a mystery that remains unsolved.
As the smoke clears, the sign stands resolute, a beacon of intrigue. What secrets lie within the forest's depths? The quest for truth begins at Sasquatch Watch Radio. Here's Billy Willard and Gary Kendrick.
All right, welcome everybody to another episode of If I Can Talk Today. Another episode of Sasquatch Watch Radio. Today is Monday, April 28th, 2025. We're glad to have all of you here with us tonight. Remember, everybody, get your fingers ready for the keyboard on the live chat. We got another Bigfoot topic question tonight, and the fastest person that types it into the chat is going to win a prize. So be ready. Mick, if you're out there, you know, you might want to get out of your birthday suit so that you don't slide around in your seat, so that you'll be ready to get those fingers moving. Cause, you know, David got you. He was on it last week. So gotta be ready, you know, get them going, you know, exercise them while we're doing the show or something. So just want you to be ready. So got a great guest for us tonight. We'll have Alissa on here in just a moment. First, let's get Gary, who's got a shirt of Bigfoot that looks just like him. That's Gary right there.
How's everybody tonight?
Oh man. Hey Kevin. Got Kevin in there in the chat. We got Mick in the chat. So they'll start loading in here. We got a whole lot more listening than we got on the chat. So hopefully they'll all start coming in. Tennessee Cherokee just logged in. All right. So good to go. All right. So we got a great guest. So instead of wasting a bunch of time, we're going to get her in here. Alissa, how are you doing?
Oh, I can't complain. How are you doing?
It wouldn't do no good to complain. Nobody listens.
Exactly.
We all know that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you've already met my co-host there, Gary Kendrick. He is the researcher. He's the guy that has researched your bones in the closet.
Yep.
So he's gonna get started on his interview.
Sounds good.
Well, Alissa, it's good to have you on tonight. It's going to be a great show. I'm looking forward to it. I'd like to start off right off the bat. Can you tell us about your first encounter in 2015?
We was out camping at Creature Weekend. I was at South Fork, and my stepdad. We were listening to the woods, like just coyotes in the distance, birds, nature, and all of a sudden there was this howl that made everything in the woods stop. And it was so quiet, it sounded like a pin could probably drop. And we were looking around, I'm like, what was that? Because I knew that wasn't a coyote. We brushed it off, and I was sitting there. I was up all night because I could not sleep after that because I've never heard anything like that. It was very interesting. That was my first encounter in 2015. It was there. Nothing. Nothing else happened. Just that howl.
Okay. How many sightings have you had?
Like actually seeing it, the first one happened, I want to say in 2017 maybe. I was coming back from the Mothman Festival. My friend lives out in Middle Way National Forest outside Point Pleasant. It's the border of Ohio and West Virginia where he lives at. And we was turning a corner, and there was a lot of trees, brush, the woods. And there's some houses there, but a lot of them are abandoned or it's Amish. And we turned the corner to go by his house. I seen something that was crouched down. And I just looked at it and I'm like, that does not belong. But I didn't say nothing to anybody. And my friend TJ, we got back to the cabin. He looked at me. He was like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I seen something, but I don't know if it was a bush or something because it was like crouched down, it was dark, plays tricks on you at night, kind of." So we went back the next morning, and it wasn't there. I'm like, "Okay, this is weird." And like I was telling you guys earlier, when I go in the woods, I like to talk to the woods. And it was about, I believe it was in the afternoon. I had leftovers and I was walking to the gifting area. And I was just talking to the woods and I looked up on the ridge and I seen a shoulder and a head pop out. And I seen the sun hit its fur. It was reddish brown fur. And then it came back and I was like, okay, cool. And everybody asked me if I was scared. I wasn't scared. I felt like he was showing himself to me. Like, it wasn't all of him, but like he was making his presence known, if that makes sense. And I think that too I seen the night before. But whatever was I seen the night before was just the back. I didn't see the front, it was just the back. But that was interesting for me. And a couple years later, I seen like a little one playing in the trees. It was like kind of peeped out, so I couldn't see much. It was dark.
That's interesting. I know you've talked about finding a lot of footprints too. Is that in the same area?
Yes, we have a couple of footprints. I have one that's, well, it wasn't mine, it's his. You can see clear. You can see like the outline of his toes. I found a couple of little ones, maybe like this big, out there. A couple. I found some in the moss up towards the gifting area. You can see the outline of the toes, but that's about it. And it wasn't in that area, but about 20 minutes where he lives at, we go to these woods, and there's been Bigfoot sightings there. And me and my mom actually heard what they call it a samurai chatter there. It sounded like it was right beside us. That was creepy. Yes, that was very creepy.
I know you've talked about the samurai chatter before.
Yeah.
Have you heard any other vocalizations beside the howl and the samurai chatter?
I've heard like the whoops, but that's about it. But the one that got me the most was the samurai chatter.
Go into it a little bit. Tell us a little bit about hearing it.
We was at this bridge. I don't know exactly where it's at. Can't remember. Like I think it's called Sims Creek. And it's like a runway road in and out. So if anybody comes out or goes there, you see them. And we was doing like rock clocks and stuff. And earlier it sounded like something threw a rock in the creek. It was big. I'm like, okay, we're getting something. It was quiet. And me and my mom were standing here and we heard the sound like the samurai child. We heard it going back and forth between two creatures. And I didn't say nothing because I thought I was the only one that heard it. And then my mom said something about it, and we looked at each other. I'm like, I think that's what they call a samurai chatter.
Hey, somebody just sent you a message.
Yeah, it's my uncle.
The Sam Squanch. I think that's more down in Texas, isn't it? The Sam Squanch.
Thanks, Sam Squinch.
Alissa, I keep wanting to call you Alissa because my son's girlfriend's name is Alissa.
It's spelled the same way.
You are connected to a lot of big names.
I am.
In
Yes.
Sasquatch research. The mountain monsters, and probably the biggest is Bob Gimlin.
Yes, Bob keeps saying he used to say he wanted to kidnap me, but now he says he wants to borrow me because kidnapping is illegal.
Yeah, you go to prison for that. I work in prison and I don't want to go. Just
So
saying.
that's why I changed it. And I'm like, Bob, I don't think your wife would appreciate you bring somebody else.
Tell us a little bit about how you met all these big names in Bigfoot.
first people I met was mountain monster guys at Creature Weekend when I first met Billy. That was the only reason I went, was to meet them. And then I went to the Ohio Bigfoot Conference. That's how I met Bob Gimlin, Cliff, Bobo. Trying to think. Ken Gerhard, Lyle, Nick Redfern, Russ, Ronnie. Who else? It's too many that I really think. But the ones I mostly talk to, like Ken, Lyle, some of the guys from Mountain Monsters, Russ, and Bob Gimlin. Try to keep in touch with Bob.
Well, good. I got a side note.
Oh boy.
If you talk to Russ, tell him to answer my emails.
I will.
Because I've been trying to get him on the show.
I will.
I think he thinks I'm fake or something, like a robot or something, one of them AI bots.
He wholly is on anything, but I'll tell him.
Okay.
Me and my wife, we go to a Bigfoot festival in Townsend, Tennessee, and we've been for the past 3 years. And I've met quite a few people there. I've met Ken Gearhart, Jeff Meldrum.
He's a good guy too.
Yeah, I mean, just lots of people. Mm-hmm. And they asked me, say, are you in a group? And I said, yeah, I'm in Sasquatch Watch of Virginia. And they said, who runs that group? And I said, Billy Willard. And they was like, oh, I know Billy. You're a great guy. Everybody in Bigfoot knows Billy. So that's my connection to everybody is I mentioned Billy's name and they talk to me.
That's how it is with me.
I don't know. That could change, Gary. Be careful. It could change like the direction of the wind.
I actually have an interview with Bob that I'm going to put on in my book when it comes out that I had actually the honor to do with.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Oh, and Adam Davies. I got one with Adam Davies. I got one with Ken. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Alissa, where do you do most of your research at? You don't have to be specific. Just,
Ohio, I need to get back on. I have a website and stuff. I try to look up recent sightings and get a hold of people. If I go do libraries, people come up to me, tell me like, oh, I've seen this, and tell me where it's at, and I try to go look at it. Or if I get a lead, I try to go see what's at. But my main place is where I go up to my friends for West Virginia. That's where I mostly do that because I know it's so active. It's hit and miss sometimes because he doesn't always want to come out and play. But that's why I mostly like to go in the woods because I find like tracks. I hear him. I'm pretty sure there's a nest somewhere because I can hear him breaking trees down and carrying them down the woods. So it's probably a nest somewhere, but I haven't ventured that far yet.
I know we talked a little bit off the air before we come on about the gifting that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that Sasquatch has brought you some gifts himself, and you mentioned deer legs,
rocks, apples, onions. One time, my friend left peanut butter out like a jar, and it disappeared, and it came back empty with a lid on it.
That's pretty cool.
And of course, when I tell people when I leave food out, I know there's other animals in the woods. There's raccoons, there's deer, there's coyotes, there's bears. But half the time I come back, there's a rock on the plate. What's going to put a rock on an empty plate? Not a raccoon, not a deer. Unless a raccoon's big enough to get a rock and to stick it on the plate.
I'm pretty sure most of the time a raccoon would probably carry the plate off and eat it too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, times I come back, the plate's like destroyed on the ground, but I'm like, I know there's other animals out here. I know I'm feeding more creatures than just the Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's why they're hanging out.
Probably like, hey, we get free food here. I'm not gonna leave.
It's like a buffet.
Yes. You like to steal stuff too. My friend had cast iron skillets. They stole them. I don't know what they want to do with skillets. They'd like
Oh,
to.
I can imagine.
I was thinking like maybe the wife just takes it and like smacks the husband with it, gets on his nerves. They like to steal his rocks. That's his favorite kind of thing. His rocks. So he puts rocks on tables, they're gone, and then in the distance you can hear the rocks clinking.
You know, if you start hearing wood knocks, it's got a little bit of a chime with it.
I won't be surprised.
That's the frying pans.
I was telling him like, "Oh, you hear the rocks?"
That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. And I know you study a lot of other things in Ohio besides Bigfoot. There is a lot of cryptids in Ohio.
We do. We have Mothman, because that's what he first started as here in Ohio. We have a Loch Ness monster called Bessie, because he's up in Lake Erie. It was seen at, it was called by Bessie Island, so they called it Bessie. We have a dog man. We have a bunch of little interesting critters. Loveland frog, which is like a giant frog. But there hasn't been many sightings of that. So some of the things that I can't find much sightings, I really don't pay attention to because there's not enough proof and evidence, if that makes sense. Because I'm like, okay, cool, I will mention it, but I won't talk about that much. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep.
And I know you have a close relationship with the Mothman.
Yes.
And we talked a little bit about that before we come on the air.
Yes.
Tell us about your relationship with the Mothman. Because I'm going to be honest with you, you're the only person that I've ever talked to that knows about Chief Cornstalks.
Yeah, I'm related to Chief Cornstalk, which a lot of people know. Well, not a lot of people, but he's known for the whole Mothman thing in Point Pleasant. And also, I'm related to the people that found Point Pleasant, too. So, like, a huge connection going on in that area. But I didn't know I was related to Mothman until a couple of years ago. And there's this dream I have when I'm down there. It's only when I'm there. It's been happening for about 7 years. I had a dream of 2 glowing red eyes. But it's only when I'm in that area. And people say it's because I know about my connection. I'm like, well, that was before I knew my connection with the Mothman. So I don't know if the Mothman trying to tell me something or if it's because I have a connection to it. I just know it's creepy. It's just all black and it's 2 glowing red eyes, and that's it.
Yeah, me and Gary try to stay away from the creepy.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm
But I'd sit out in the woods and look for an 8-foot giant primate and not be too bothered. Okay?
I hear
Ghosts,
woods.
I'm out. Demons, I'm out.
I go ghost
nothing to
hunting.
do with that.
So I've had encounters with the Wendigo. I've had,
You can keep all that.
If I hear a noise in the woods, I have to go see what it was.
And you said you had encounters with the Wendigo?
Well, like once or twice before I moved back, my friend, we found an a covered bridge, but we didn't know it was buried by 2 ancient burial grounds. And we kept getting on a ghost box over and over again about the Wendigo. And one time we seen something in the cornfield that had horns and it looked like a deer-shaped head. And I'm like, nope. Nope. And we always heard like Indians in the background. It's haven't been there. Like we heard Indian drums chanting. And one time when we heard that, whole bunch of deers came running out of the woods. Right after we heard the Indian chanting, like that's not a coincidence.
Now, it's funny that you mentioned that. I don't remember if I ever told you this, Gary, but me and Bill Dringennis were out by not far from Richmond International Airport over in that area where 2 of my sons had a sighting. And he had his recording devices out there. we didn't hear nothing, but when he played back those audios, he recorded what sounded like Native American drumming that came up on that recording. I said, I'm out. See y'all later. I'm out.
I will have to send you one of the videos of the house that he's recording from inside his cabin. That's how close they get.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll tell you too, when we had the big multi-group investigation in Spotsylvania, and I think it was me and Brandon was out, and we had just all of a sudden this big light just like lit up the whole area like a spotlight. And after the light went out, we heard drums.
Really?
Yeah. That was 2013, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Hiking, and this place we go hiking at all the time. And we looked down, and we both found arrowheads just laying on the ground. And we've never seen them there. And then we kept walking, and in the distance, all of a sudden we had this smell of sage. And we're like, find arrowheads and sage, and then we smell sage. That's very weird.
I'm turning around. That's it.
No, we kept walking.
I'm done.
We still kept walking. We walked through the whole path, see if we could find any more arrowheads, and we tried to figure out where the scent came from the sage.
I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm part Indian. If I'm in the woods and I smell sage, I'm out. I'm gone.
That's it.
I guess my Indian part is like, nah, I don't care.
No. That's a little too much for me.
Yep,
A little too much for me. I know you talked about some gifting, and I'm curious as what gifts you get the best results from, whether it's food or if it's rocks or something like that.
Mostly food.
And
Mostly food.
Do you feel safe gifting like that?
I do actually. Every time I go in the woods, I'll actually go out there at night sometimes and just sit there. And there's times I've had feelings that I shouldn't be out there, so I'll leave. But other than that, I always feel comfortable out in the woods. There's been maybe 2 or 3 times I'll be sitting outside talking to the woods. I have a feeling I shouldn't be outside, so I'll go back in. But I've never had anything like throw anything at me, no growls, no nothing. I've just been like, okay, you want your space. I respect it, so I'll go back inside and give you space.
That's probably a good move.
I always feel safe out there.
I've heard some horror stories from some gifting situations, and the thing that worries me is I'm trying to think of how to put this. In a gifting situation, I think the Sasquatch might become habituated to that. He becomes dependent, I think, upon that food being there, and because it's easy, it's just there. He doesn't have to go out and work for it. And if something happens that the person forgets to put it out, or something happens and they don't put it out, if they get sick, or if it's like an older person and they die, I've heard stories of them coming in and tearing stuff up and actually harassing the other neighbors and things like that. So I'm always a little leery of gifting. That's something that's always kind of been in the back of my mind just to watch. It's kind of like habituating a bear.
I don't do it a lot. I will do it sometimes when I'm there. But I just like to them know that I'm there. But every now and then I will go outside and go to the thing and leave them something. But I try not to do it so much just in case something does happen, or because we have a good thing going there with them, and I don't want anything to happen, like them get violent or something. So far, nothing's happened, thankfully.
That's good.
Do you feel that Bigfoot could get violent?
If he wanted to, I'm sure he would. Because something that big, I feel like if he wanted to get some out of his way, he would do it.
I know we've had other guests that think that they're very similar, to like we are. some people just have a bad attitude. And if
Yeah.
you do something to really make somebody angry, violent.
Like, that's how I feel when, especially when you have little ones. I'm sure the moms are the same way. With their babies, with any other animal, you're very protective. If you get between them and its baby, they might go after you. Like bears. Like, how if you get between a mama cub and a baby cub, they go right after you. So I'm sure it's like with any animal or human, they're very protective of their area.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah. Especially, with young ones close, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah. I've seen young ones, but I try to not interact with them. I let them do their own things.
You spoke about this in the interview here tonight about talking to the woods. Can you explain that a little bit?
I was like going out there when I'm in the woods, just talking, like I'm talking to somebody, like what's going on. I guess it's not that no, I'm not a threat. Like what I'll explain to them, like if I bring an apple, I take a bite of the apple, show them it's an apple, it's nothing to hurt them. Or like the food, I tell them what the food is, that I ate it, it's good, or just like talk to the leaves, or the grass, or the flowers. Look at these pretty flowers, look at these nice leaves, or the sunset, kind of just talking to nature.
Do you feel that brings you closer to the things in nature?
I think so. It's like talking to the woods, and I think if the creatures, I've had multiple creatures come up to me, like squirrels, deers, just come right up to me. I've bears, obviously, just come up to me, and I've actually got pet a bear before in a while, and I just kept walking.
Yeah, I'd be careful with that one. Careful with that one.
It
was Bob.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not going to pet a bear. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not petting a bear. If you see a video of me petting a bear, okay, that was not a suicide attempt. That's a body dump, just so you know. I want witnesses.
All right, we'll take a little break here because we have created a song for Alissa. So,
oh boy,
this is a convenient title for this song. It's called "Searching for Bigfoot in Salt Fork." So here we go.
By the campfire glow, under Ohio skies, Alissa Plakaros with Bigfoot dreams in her eyes. Salt Fork whispers told tales through the trees, a legend to chase on the midnight breeze. Tracks in the mud, shapes in the mist, the hunter's heart craving what can't exist. The rustle of branches, shadows taking flight. In Salt Fork's depths, she'll search all night. Oh, Alissa's dream, as wild as the dark, hunting secrets hidden in the old state park. Through tangled woods and the moon's pale glow, she's chasing a mystery only shadows know. A flashlight beam catches eyes like flame. She calls out loud, but hears no name. Footfalls echo, then silence fills the air. In the land of legends, does he hide somewhere? Wind howls a warning, still she won't depart. This hunt's not just legend, it's carved in her heart. Through the tangled brambles, she's fearless and free, focused on finding what we've yet to see. Oh, Alissa's dream, as wild the dark, hunting secrets hidden in the old state park. Through tangled woods and the moon's pale glow, she's chasing a mystery only shadows know.
There you have it.
That was a good one.
Yes.
That's nice.
That kind of reminds me of some of that old folk hippie music. I like that. I like that. That was great. Alissa, I've got another question for you, and then I'm going to try to move on to some of the audience questions because, boy,
Okay.
we've got a lot. What originally got you interested in Bigfoot and all the cryptids in Ohio?
I've always been into stuff like this, but I think it has to do because when I was younger, me and my grandma used to watch King Kong and Godzilla and things like that. But something always about the unknown, like I don't know, just call. I feel like it calls to me. I guess if that makes sense. Something I've been attracted to because you don't know what's out there. What's behind the tree right now? Something simple. And some doesn't want to be found, but I still want to go see it.
That's what I say. You never know what's out there until it walks across the road in front of you.
I'm ready for that to happen. And I'm not gonna lie, if I ever see that happen, I may crap myself. Because where my friends at, because it's all back roads and all around him has been sightings. And I'm just waiting for us to drive up there and just watch him just walk across the road. I'm gonna be like, okay. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, there's some stuff out there you can't explain. Well, we'll start here with the first guest question, and Mick's already gone, but we'll go ahead and ask it. Where did the samurai chatter occur? And he said there's no need to be specific.
It was in the woods. It was right beside us. That's pretty much I can remember. I think the place was called Sims Creek, and it was probably not even 5 feet from us. We heard it. It was like it was right beside us when we heard it. It was very clear.
Wow. That's
It was
close.
Do you think it was one talking to another one and the other one talking
If I was having a
back,
conversation,
or do you think it was just one speaking?
there was two because I was having a conversation. One go off, and you hear another one go back and forth. I'm like, okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on here.
Yeah, I'm trying to find them myself. I think you're finding them better than I am.
Here, David. Yeah, David wants to know: do you always gift food, or what other kind of things do you do in your gift exchange?
I think I found rocks. I like to pick up rocks. I collect rocks. So I pick up cool rocks. I think it's fine, and I'll go take them to a little gifting area. And flowers, if I find, like I pick wildflowers and put them back there too sometimes, just to give them a little something.
I have never heard of anybody giving flowers. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. That's a new one.
Let's see. I'm still looking. Sam Squanch there says the Mothman is definitely very creepy.
Absolutely.
I think it is, but I feel like it's a little misunderstood too, if that makes sense.
I'll tell you another one that's creepy,
know.
and I told him in the chat, is the Jersey Devil.
I wanted to go there when I was in New Jersey, but I didn't get to make it there, unfortunately.
I'm going to fall in line with Alissa on this one and tell you I have an interest in it. I am genuinely interested in it. But in the same respects, too, it kind of scares the crap out of me, is the dog man.
Yes, it's something about the dog man and werewolf. It's just something I don't want to encounter.
Yep.
I could stay where it's at. That's good.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm scrolling right along here. Okay, here's another one from David. David, burning it up tonight, boys. What is the scariest experience Alissa has had in the woods?
The Samurai Shatter was definitely scary, and I went hiking at Southwark. It was night hike with my friend Bill Brock.
Mm-hmm.
We Mothman, and we decided to go do night hike, and we was walking, and we scared a deer, and I made a joke saying, "Wouldn't it be funny if I scared something's like dinner away?" And we went down farther, and there was something in the woods, and we watched it stand up, and I could see that I had a picture of the eyes, and all of a sudden, all around us, we was hearing noises, like it was trying to distract us from something. I'm like, I think we should leave. I have the video somewhere. It was interesting. It was fun. It was a fun night. But
What did Bill Brock say? Did he agree that it was time to leave?
after the noises got closer, yes, he did. It was fun. We had a fun night though. And then he was making jokes because we seen a moth go by. I'm like, yep, there goes the Mothman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, David's got another one here. Also, what is Alissa's favorite moment? And he says deprived, but I think he means derived from her efforts in nature.
Just when animals come up to me when I'm sitting outside, like deers and squirrels and stuff, come up to you.
Yeah, I like that myself because I'll usually go out there on a camping chair and just sit for hours. And after you sit there, usually after about 15, 20 minutes, as long as you're not making a lot of ruckus, things start moving around and coming down the trees and they'll, scatter right across. I was out here in the backyard this was, I think this was last fall. I think I told you about it, Gary. I had a little chipmunk just run right up on my shoe and went up my leg. I mean, because I think a cat was trying to get it, and he was trying to, save himself. Yeah.
I got a pretty cool story like that too. I'm a hunter, and it's probably been 20-some years ago, but I was in the woods hunting, and it was super cold. It was rifle season. It was really cold that day, and I got up real early, went out there, and I mean, I like to have froze to death. Well, I was sitting in a laurel thicket with a big deer trail that went up through the middle of it. And the sun finally poked through the trees, and I got a little bit warm. And just as soon as I got warm, I went to sleep. I was laying there and I had my rifle across my chest. I was out cold. And the next thing I know, I feel this white hot blistering pain run up my leg. And it scared me. And I woke up. When I woke up, there was a chipmunk sitting on my thigh. And I jumped, and when I jumped, that sucker took off, and he ran up. He barked for the rest of the day. He hung upside down on a tree, barked the rest of the day. And I come home, and I had little cuts all up and down my leg where that thing had run up my leg.
Speaking of Bigfoot, I found Bigfoot. He's in my room.
Yeah,
I got more, but I have all my stuff in storage right now because I work third shift, so that's my best way to cover my window.
No.
Right here, David has another one. I'm sorry. This was from Audrey. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Forgive me, please. Alissa has a very soothing presence that works well in nature.
It's Audrey. It's my boyfriend's aunt.
Right here's another one from David. That's the one I was looking for. Has Alissa ever had a UFO encounter of any kind?
Me and my mom seen the Men in Black. When was that? It was after Mothman. First time.
Yeah, it was like 2012.
2012 or something. My grandpa owns a place by the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Probably not even 10 minutes, if that. And we went to CVS, and it was this SUV couple parking spots, and these guys came out in black suits, a black hat, and sunglasses, and I made a joke saying it'd be funny if that was the Men in Black. It's Florida, people dress nice. And they looked at me, like looked in my ear, towards me and laughed. I'm like, okay, whatever. And we came back out, and they were gone. I'm like, that's very weird because nobody came in. So I got a hold of Nick Redfern because he's all in that. I'm like, hey, Nick. He's like, what's up? I'm like, I got a question. So he called me, and I explained to him. He's like, don't say it. I seen the Men in Black. I don't want to mention that. But I've seen the Men in Black. I've seen some weird things in the sky, like blinking lights and just disappear. One time I was laying down looking in the sky. It was a clear night. Me and my cousin. And we seen something flashing and it darted into the moon and disappeared. But I think the creepiest thing was the Men in Black, for sure.
Me and Gary's had our share of lights in the sky, and that's another one that we stay away from.
I've actually in one of Nick Redfern's books about the Men in Black, so I have to find that picture and send it to you.
I know you've talked in podcasts before about seeing like glowing, and I can't remember if you said yellow or if you said red eyes. Can you get into that a little bit?
Just the just glowing red eyes when I'm asleep. That's pretty much all I can see when we're in that area, and it feels like it's staring at me or trying to communicate to me. I get an eerie feeling, but I don't feel threatened, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know what it is. It scares me, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't feel like I'm scared.
Now, the eyes that you saw, do you think it was reflecting light that had been shined at it, or do you think they were glowing?
They were glowing because there was no lights around when I seen it. Because I don't hunt, but I've been in the woods my whole life, so I know animal eyes, when the light hits it, the reflection comes back. These eyes I seen, there was no lights. Outside was pitch black when I seen it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a little bit spooky right there.
It was, and it was pretty tall, and I was like, nope. I do have moments when I see something and I go, nope, nope. I turn around and leave.
And I know you've done a lot of investigations at Salt Fork in Ohio. And with the conference being in Salt Fork and things like that, do you feel that there's probably too much human interference in Salt Fork?
I don't go there besides camping now because there's too much human interaction going on now. That's why when I go there and I hear something, I am very iffy on what it is. Because it could be a person. It could be, I mean, some of that noises I've heard, I know wasn't human because I've heard some strange sounds at night. I'm like, because I go a lot during the off season, I still hear some eerie noises. So I'm like, but I'm still though, like, that could be a person, that could be somebody on the phone making the callback sound. You just never know at Salt Fork. Because it's getting too populated now. People go to conferences and everything now these days. So I stay away from there mostly if I want to do that kind of stuff.
One thing's for sure, the park rangers there are very well aware that people stay in there late.
Yeah, they don't say anything.
And they usually don't bother you. I know there's been a couple that I think they were, I guess we'll call them newbies. But I think after a while they realize you're not going to stop these people coming in here because, and usually nobody's doing anything to harm anything. So
yeah, when I've been out there at night, I just see, like, I met a couple with park rangers. He had some encounters themselves. But as long as you're not doing anything, you really don't care. They just tell you to be careful and watch where you're going because I've seen bobcats out there. I've seen mountain lions. So they just tell you be careful
Yeah.
and watch your steps. I'm like, well, yeah, I know that.
Don't go walking around Hozak's cave in the dark. It's not a good idea.
I mostly stay to the trail close to the cabins and up a little bit in the camping area. It's more flat land at night. During the day, I'll go up to like Hozak Cave and stuff, but at night, I try to stay away from.
Yeah, you don't want to be. Yeah.
Alissa, other than your own encounter, what do you think is the best Bigfoot encounter out there?
Besides the Pat Gimlin film?
Yeah, I think everybody pretty much is on that.
I'm iffy on some Bigfoot videos that I come across because all this technology and people saying something that's not. So I think the biggest one besides the Patty film is some of the zero sounds.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm iffy on some of these videos and sounds that I've come across. I watch it. Like people will be randomly in the woods with the camera and pointing the woods and there's a Bigfoot. That don't work that way usually half the time.
I know you got to be really, really cautious while you're out in the woods.
Oh yeah.
What do you use to protect yourself while you're in the woods?
I didn't. I usually have a knife with me. I always carry a pocket knife, or I am in a handgun too to have both, just to be safe.
Yeah, I always say it's good to have a firearm with you because there's more dangerous things in the woods than Bigfoot.
Yes, because I have a good friend that lives in New Jersey, and me and him went night hiking and we scared ourselves because there was a bear box, and I thought it was a bear because it was very low to the ground, and the reflective of that, and we thought it was a bear, but it was a bear box.
Oh, here we've got a new question. This one comes from Maggie R. What is Alyssa's favorite Ohio cryptid besides the Grassman?
Mothman.
I would say
Bessie. I would say Bessie, but the things I've read about it and I talked to John Kirk about. After there was a snake that got loose from the Cleveland Zoo. And ever since they got that snake, there's been no more sightings of Bessie. I'm not saying there could be one up there, but I just find it weird. After they caught that snake, there's been no more sightings of this Loch Ness monster.
And just for the record, that was not a small snake either. It was pretty substantial snake.
Python, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty good size. I think it was about 12 feet, actually.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of weird things in Lake. There's sturgeon up in Lake Erie. There's been sharks seen up in Lake Erie. So, I mean, sturgeon itself is a scary-looking creature.
Oh, yeah, they are.
So, at night, you see that and you don't know what sturgeon is? Of course you're going to think it's a sea monster. Yep. I would say it's a sea monster. I know what it is, but I would still say it's a sea monster.
That kind of falls back on some of the things that I always say. You should know what animals inhabit the area where you're at. And a lot of people hear stuff and say, oh, that's Bigfoot. And you have to tell us, no, that's an owl.
I have a person
that's a bobcat.
Hang out with. He was one of those people that we hear a noise, it was automatically a Bigfoot. I'm like, no. That was a bobcat, that was a deer. Or if you hear, like, during the day, like, trees, like, branches fall. Or if, like, deer walks it. Did you hear that was Bigfoot? I'm like, someone was walking on a branch. It could have been anything. But he was one of those people that everything was a Bigfoot. Everything. It was actually, he went with us when I was with Bill Brock. It got so bad that me and Bill Brock was making fun of him while he was there. It was funny. Like we heard, what was it? we seen a deer. We're like, did you see that Bigfoot? And he didn't catch on that was making fun of him.
David's got another question before he gets into that. I'm going to tell this one. I was fishing with a friend of mine, and this has been a long time ago. He's passed now. And it was just me and him out there, and we were catfishing. We had a couple lanterns going, and we were just sitting there chilling and just kind of decompress after a long week at the prison, and we was out there fishing, and we wasn't getting any bites, so we were just pretty much just sitting there talking, and all of a sudden this tree falls. You can hear this big tree fall. Boom.
Mm.
And he turns around and he looks at me, he's like, Bigfoot. And he turns back around, and then you hear two more big trees fall. Boom. Boom. And he turns around and he looks at me and he's like, what was that? And I said, that was a tree falling 3 times.
It was Bigfoot.
It was a tree falling 3 times. It hit the ground, got back up, and did it again. David's got another question here. Do you think the Mothman is a warning messenger, a protector, or something more mysterious?
I don't know about. I've heard things with the warning because he was supposed to be seen before bad things happen. I don't know about that. I think it's more mysterious kind of area, but that's the fun part about cryptids. You're not 100% sure what they are.
If I can chime in on that one a little bit, if you don't care, I've done a lot of historical research on Chief Cornstalks and the Mothman, and Chief Cornstalks was held prisoner at what was called Fort Randolph, Virginia, in the 1700s, which is now Point Pleasant, West Virginia. And he was held hostage there because he went for a peace conference, and they held him hostage. And his son come up to check on him, and they held his son hostage. They had them all locked in this cabin. And a couple of days after Cornstalk's son had come up there, they found 2 soldiers outside the fort that had been killed, and they were mutilated pretty horribly. And the soldiers got so mad about these 2 guys being killed and mutilated that they went inside the fort and they killed every Indian that was in the fort. And when they busted into the cabin where Cornstalks and his party was at, they shot them all to start with, but they ended up having to shoot Cornstalks 8 times before he died. And I'm talking about, this is not, just getting shot 8 times. This is like 74 caliber muskets. It's poking huge holes in you. So as Cornstalks was dying, he cursed all the Europeans. He said, I've cursed, I'm going to, my spirit will come back and take revenge on all of the Europeans in Fort Randolph, Virginia, which now just so happens to be Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's true or not, because I try to stay away from spiritual stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's crap out of me.
Before. Yeah, I've heard about the course of Chief Cornstalk before. So that's the thing I'm not sure. I mean, is it coincidence? Maybe not. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty remarkable. Other than, hearing the sounds, and you had that one visual sighting, have you had any more encounters lately with Bigfoot?
Last year we went up there and we were sitting outside, and we just did typical like the whoops. And I was walking on the porch, and this thing was right beside me. I just heard one single whoop, and that was just it. I'm like, okay, I know you're there. Kind of thing. But that was about it was just mostly the sounds last year. Nothing really, no sightings last time, just sounds. Heard a couple of tree knocks and whoops. So it was pretty quiet last time I went.
I know you said you was working. Go ahead, Billy. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I'm going to go ahead and put this question up.
Yeah, let's do that.
So let's see who's got the fastest fingers in the chat tonight. This one, again, I don't think I made them too hard. I don't think this is a hard one either. So let's see who gets this one. While many alleged Bigfoot sightings describe a creature covered in dark hair, what is the name of the purported significantly lighter-haired variant of Bigfoot often reported in the southeastern U.S.? Let's see who gets it.
I think I know the answer to this one, and it's killing me.
I know.
I feel it.
Let's see who gets it. See who gets it right first.
The skunk
David.
ape.
Man, David is on it. David, you can't win 2 times in a week, in the 2 weeks. Of course, you said you was going to give he was actually feeling bad for Mick, and he wanted to give his last prize to Mick. I think because Mick's not going to be very happy later tonight. I think.
Yeah. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. I think there may be a lot of people in Canada not real happy.
So here's what we'll do, David. We'll send you your original prize, and then if you want to forfeit a prize to to Mick to console him a little bit, we can do that. But yeah, I forgot to put. So yeah, there you go. Skunk ape. Put it up there. Yep, that was the correct answer. Man, David is on it.
He is in there, boys.
David is on it. I don't have another question ready, David. Not till next week. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure out. We'll find out what Mick doesn't have, and then we'll send him one of the prizes. And then David, you still got to send me your address so I can send you your other prize. Here, I'll put there's the email address because I know nobody wants to type that in the chat because then everybody and their brother will be emailing you. They're mailing you something. or searching for you. Of course, they'd have to come up into Canada, and they might not make it past the border. So that's another thing. They might be checking my prize when it goes across the border. They'll be opening it up, see if there's something in there.
Yeah. Of course, the sad part about that is I don't think they smuggle a lot of stuff from the U.S. into Canada. I think there might be more stuff coming in than going out.
Yeah. All right, so George wants me to make the next question really difficult. So I'm going to do my research and find a real hard one for next week. So, all right. So David, I think, has got one more question.
Yep, this was a good one right here. What's still Alyssa's bucket list of things that she would like to do in cryptozoology or the cryptid world?
New Jersey Devil. For sure.
Into the creepy ones.
Into the creepy ones. I've always been interested in New Jersey Devil because the whole legend's pretty interesting behind that. And you can, the place is still there. I mean, not really still there, but like some of the ruins. And that's what's supposedly seen at. So I think that'd be pretty interesting to go check it out.
It is a very creepy place, considering the fact that like a lot of the creeks, the running creeks have black water in them, because of the pines. There's a lot of old abandoned houses out in the middle of the pine barrens. There's a bunch of abandoned cranberry bogs that are no longer used. And I've told you the story, Gary. That's where me and Tom went. That's the scaredest I had ever been in my life when we had that happen out there. So just to make it real short, we had something when we first sat down. It was a perfectly clear night. But by the time we were getting ready to leave, the fog was so thick you couldn't see 5 feet in front of you. And right at that point in time, we had something throw a rock right behind us that we felt the water off of. And we didn't, and when it happened, it was so close that it freaked us out. And of course, Tom got stuck in his chair and rolled down the hill, and the chair was stuck to his rear end. And we made our way out of there. I was hitting the remote start just to see how close we were to the truck, trying to get the truck to start so that the lights would come on. But that's the scaredest I had ever been, because that was so close. I mean, that we felt the water. So, yeah. That's a creepy place, Alissa, I'll tell you.
I'm going to hop in here with George Garcia on this one. He said his favorite is the thylacine, or the Tasmanian tiger.
That's interesting.
And I'm going to hop in there, George, and tell you, I think there is still a remnant population of thylacines in Australia and New Zealand.
Yep. I do too.
I really believe that.
I do too.
And of course, now with the reintroduction of dire wolves, God only knows what they're going to clone next.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, Billy, that's all I've got, brother.
All right. Well, Lisa, we had fun tonight.
Yeah, I had fun.
We appreciate it. And I heard, and did you tell us that you work third shift?
For now, I'm getting ready to start second next week. Well, next week. So, yeah.
That's rough.
It is. There's some interesting people there at night for sure, but it sucks.
Yeah, that's rough. Well, we appreciate you coming on. Are you able to hang out while we close out the show and then we'll come back? Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, so we'll go ahead and we'll close out the show. I want to thank everybody that was on tonight. We had quite a crowd in here, so we appreciate it. Had some new folks too. Maggie R. We had George in here, David Rosty. Let's see. Who all did we have in here? Mick was in here earlier. Tennessee Cherokee. We had Digger Dog in here. We had Charles in here. We had Audrey in here. So we thank all of you guys for coming in. A few of you are first time we've seen you, so we welcome you back. And Kevin Harder was in here. I forgot about Kevin.
Kevin, yeah.
So we appreciate it. We appreciate all of you guys. Come back next Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll have us. Well, I haven't decided if we're going to have a guest or if we're going to do one of our topic shows. Me and Gary's got to talk about that. So, but yeah. So anyway, as always, if you guys have suggestions of guests, I've already told Alissa that she needs to get in touch with Russ, because Russ won't return my messages. So I want to talk to that dude. So if you have suggestions, feel free to send it to us. But until then, we'll see you guys next week, next Monday night, 9 p.m. You guys have a great rest of the week. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Proud to announce that Sasquatch Watch Radio and the Bigfoot Investigative Group have joined forces. We are the exclusive podcast for Big. Tune in on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern for a live video podcast each week. Sign up for our email list at squatchradio.com and subscribe to us on YouTube. Never miss an exciting episode. Sasquatch Watch Radio, the exclusive podcast for the Navy SEALs team of Big.